Welcome to Pastor's Chat today. Well, today is our last day in chapter 1. Tomorrow we'll start chapter 2, Revelation. Today we'll read the last two verses. And so John hears these words from Jesus. Write the things which you have seen, and the things which are, and the things which will take place after this. The mystery of the 7 stars which you saw in my right hand, and the 7 golden lampstands. The 7 stars are the angels of the 7 churches, and the 7 lampstands which you saw are the 7 churches. Now remember, the book of Revelation is an unveiling of the Lord Jesus Christ himself. He is the one who has given this message to John to bring to the 7 churches of Asia, which also can apply in so many ways to even us today. It's an unveiling of the future. Jesus is coming again, and he is going to set everything straight. I'm telling you, there's no politician, there's no world leader, there's no industrial leader, there's no person on planet Earth that can take care of all the problems we have today. Years ago, I was on an airplane with a gentleman, and we began a conversation with him and several others as we were sitting there. And of course, I was talking about how I believe in the Lord and I believe in the Scriptures. And this one gentleman, older guy, very intellectually, looked very intellectual, etc., and so forth. I asked him, "Well, what do you believe?" And he said, "I believe in science." And I said, "What do you mean by that?" He said, "I believe science has all the answers to all of humanity's problems." I couldn't believe my ears. I wanted to say, which I didn't say, maybe I should have said, well, it's not doing a very good job. It's not doing a very good job. Well, my friend, Jesus does have the answer, and he's coming back with those answers. Now, as we finish up this book, these last 2 verses, we find Jesus tells us what the outline of this book is going to be. So he tells John, write the things which you have seen. Now, what did John see? Well, he tells us, I turned to see. So what he saw, he has already told us about here in chapter 1. He saw the glorified Christ. He saw him in all his majesty. He saw him coming as the judge. He saw him with the 7 lampstands, the 7 stars, in the midst of the 7 lampstands, with the 7 messengers, the 7 angels in his right hand. He is in charge of the church, and he's coming back for the church. He's coming back to make the church all that it should be for the glory of God. And so he gives us an outline. Write the things which you've seen. So John sees Jesus and tells us about him in chapter 1. Write the things which are. So there's 7 churches in Asia right now doing their church work, their ministry, and they need a letter. They need a word of encouragement. And so John actually is in the next 2 chapters, 2 and 3, is going to explain to us and share with us what's going on in those churches, because Jesus would look at them and say, I know your works. I know your works. I know what's going on inside of you. I know your failures. I know those who inside of you and those who are part of your work are really a part of Satan's work. Jesus knows the church. It is his body. And he has a message for the church. So write the things which are. And that's chapters 2 and 3. And then write the things which shall be hereafter, or the things which will take place after this. And that starts in chapter 4. And of course, in chapter 4, we see in chapter 1, after this, John said, I heard a voice from heaven saying, come up here. We believe that's a wonderful picture of the rapture of the church, and John is caught up into heaven, and there the Lamb takes his throne, and he sees a worship scene in chapters 4 and chapters 5. And then we begin to see in chapter 6 the tribulation of 7 years. We know that that tribulation is in 2 parts, 3.5 years of the first tribulation. And Jesus said in himself in Matthew 24:25, after you see the abomination of desolation as spoken of by Daniel the prophet, after those days there will be great tribulation. So the first part of the 7 years is tribulation. The last part is great tribulation. And then we see in chapter 20, the millennial kingdom of Christ is set up on earth in chapter 20. And then in chapter 21 and 2, we see the new heaven and a new earth, and we enter into eternity. Well, I'm looking forward to jumping into these 7 churches tomorrow that we're going to look at in chapters 2 and 3. But you be encouraged. Jesus is coming again. We know the course of human history because God has shared it and revealed it to us today. You know we win in the end. God bless, and you have a wonderful, wonderful day.